Hey everybody, Dimity here, and I am so excited to talk to you about the Katy Trail tour that we are doing this year, September 17th to the 20th. I am just back, not just back, but I went and did a little recon in early May and had such a good time. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed it, and the whole time I was there, I was like, oh, I can't wait to bring a group back here. So I've made a slideshow, so I'm going to share that. And then at the end, there's plenty of time for questions. And if you have questions along the way, you can put them in the chat bar, or raise your hand or whatever. But I'll just kind of plow through the slides, and then we'll have time for some Q&A. So I'm going to share those. And there's a lot of information on them. So if you cannot see my screen very well, can somebody let me know? Otherwise, I'm gonna assume that you can see it well. All right, so we are going on September 7th to the 10th, which is a Thursday to a Sunday. And here are the basics of the tour. So it's 4 days and 3 nights. We are going to start in St. Charles, Missouri, which is this little red dot or red circle over here. And we're also going to end there. And St. Charles is right outside of St. Louis. So you would fly into St. Louis if you are going to be flying. The shuttle, there is a shuttle that will take us and our bikes from St. Charles to Rocheport. That's where we're going to start. So we are not doing the full trail. The full trail can either be 240 miles or even longer than that. We are just doing a portion of it. We're going to do about 154 miles. And so the shuttle is going to take us to Rocheport, and then we're going to work our way back slowly to St. Charles, mile by mile. The mileage over 4 days is going to be about 154 miles, give or take. That's what Grant, my husband, and I did it together in early May, and that's kind of what we got. So our first day is at about 41 miles. The second day is 47. The third day is 38, and then the last one is a nice little cruise with 28 miles, taking us back to St. Charles. So the shuttle moves our luggage. So that same shuttle that took us from St. Charles to Rocheport then will come and pick up our bags. We're going to stay in Jefferson City, the capital of Missouri, if you remember your 50 states and capitals. We're going to stay there on the first night. That will be in a hotel. We're going to be staying in Rhineland, which is Rhine country, wine country, on the second night. And that is in a motel, but it's in a very cool refurbished motel that feels very modern and sassy. And then the last one in Augusta, Missouri is an Airbnb. And the only thing I will say about these towns, they're very cute. Missouri, we're going to ride next to the Missouri River for most of it. And as you may know, if you've ever watched the news, the Missouri River can flood. And so they build most of these towns up on hills so that they are, preventative or, try to minimize their risk of flooding. So you ride all day on this very flat trail, and then you usually have a little bit of a hill to climb to get into the town we're going to stay in. Grant and I would laugh about that. So that's the basics of our kind of mileage. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'd be happy to talk about them afterwards. Here's just some more basics. Like I said, the trail is very, very flat. I mean, it is as flat as the table you eat on. Literally, if we go up a litwe were like, whoa, that was a hill. And it was, it's like a mound, basically. And it's very wide, and the gravel is not like, it's like pea gravel. It's not rocky gravel. A couple times when we were on rocky gravel, we were like, wow, the Katy Trail is so smooth and nice. It's an old rail trail. It's the oldest rail trail in the U.S. It's the longest rail trail in the U.S. So again, it's very flat. It's very easy to ride. You can go in two directions. It's very hard to get lost, is what I would say. And what I like about it too is that you can really, you can definitely ride by yourself and have some, contemplative, meditative time, but it's almost like a walk or a run because you can ride next to the person. You can ride with somebody next to you, or even three across. And if you want to have a conversation, you want to talk about Lewis and Clark. There's a lot of Lewis and Clark history on the Missouri Trail or the Katy Trail. So anyway, so I just want to let you know. So if you are nervous about, your riding skills, and you think it's going to be like a mountain bike ride or anything like that, that is not the case. It is very, very accessible. A lot of it is shaded. A lot of it has canopies like this, trees, and much of it is next to the Missouri River. Like the first day was just spectacular. The whole time I was like, oh my gosh, my nervous system is just coming down like 17 notches because you're not in a car. You do get Wi-Fi easily. So if you have to be in touch with somebody or take a call, or, you've got a family situation going on at home that you need to stay on top of, we're not totally in the boondocks, but you also don't have to pull out your phone if you don't want to. And that's really lovely. Your meal-wise, your breakfast and dinners will be in the town that we land in. The lunch will be on the trail, and there are some lunches on the trail available. If you register, I'm not going to go too much into nutrition now and food stuff, but I'm going to be driving down there, and I'll be bringing a bunch of food for us for lunches and stuff, and it's like some protein drinks for after our riding. So we'll make sure to have your nutritious needs met. I mean, I won't lie. This is the middle of Missouri. If you have kind of a Whole Foods, kind of Whole30 diet, this is not quinoa country, but it is, but you can definitely get good nutrition there. There's regular places to refill water bottles and your bladder on the trail. There's also bathrooms along the way. You'll see a picture, but there are like little railroad stops along the way where the rail stations used to be. So there's like benches and history and all that kind of stuff. There are plenty of places otherwise to just stop and take a break. The first day, I was like, I can't even count how many benches there were. There were so many benches. There's, it kind of depends upon the day, but you can always just pull over in the shade and get off your bike, right? If you need to just get off the saddle for a little bit, that's always an option. We stopped, probably every half an hour or so, maybe maybe at the first one, the first ride of the day, we might have gone a little bit longer, but we are definitely going for like tour vibes and not racing vibes and not how fast can I go vibes. You can definitely go at your own pace. We'll get a full itinerary so you know where we're starting, you know where we're ending. We'll have a whole bunch of ways to stay connected with one another. I don't anticipate we'll be riding as a pack the whole time. I imagine that we'll kind of break up into different groups depending upon your riding speed, but there's no rush to get anywhere. It's just a lovely way to kind of think of it as just kind of like sauntering along the trail. Those are kind of just a little bit about the trail. The bike and gear. I want to talk a little bit about what you might need. And again, I'm happy to answer more questions about this, or if you are registered and you want to go more into depth, when we start to meet more often, I'm happy to help you here. You're going to want, let me start by saying you can rent a bike from our tour outfitter. And they're perfect. They are the bikes that they recommend for using on the Katy Trail, whether you use a hybrid bike or you could use an e-bike, they have a gravel bike also. So they have 3 options. They cost from about $230 to $370 for the 4 days, not per day, but for the 4 days. So that would be entered into your costs on top of the registration fee. So if you're coming from, the East Coast to West Coast, you don't want to deal with your bike, you can rent one, no problem, and they'll definitely help you get it set up. If you are driving or want to fly with your bike, you want a hybrid bike. This little Cannondale is a hybrid bike. You can get one also that doesn't have a top tube here, so you can just step over it and you don't have to worry about flinging your leg over it, which sometimes feels good. The only real huge difference between a hybrid bike, this hybrid bike, and then down here is my gravel bike, is just the handlebars. One is straight across and one has the drops. Really, it's not that big of a deal. So your tires, the biggest thing is your tires. They should be 38 to 45 millimeters wide. and you can literally pull out a little measurement, or it's also written on the tire, but sometimes it's a little hard to see. It's not like it's printed really loud and easy to see sometimes. Sometimes it's like small numbers, black on black. So if you want to, just get out a ruler, you can do that. The reason why you want between about 38 and 45 is that's just kind of the ideal width to like kind of withstand the bumps. And again, it's not very bumpy, but it can get a little like if it rains a little bit, you don't skinnier tires are going to kind of dig into the gravel a little bit more. Wider than that, like a mountain bike tire, which is what Grant rode, and he was fine, but it's just you're going to slow down a little bit. It's like unnecessarily affects your speed. So you just want something in the middle. And most hybrid bikes have that tire size, and most gravel bikes have that tire size. So it's really not that, you don't have to worry too much about it. But in case you have a concern, that's about as technical as we'll go. I want your bike to have at least 1 to 2 water bottle cages, plus a seat pack that, you can see it on mine here. So you have the tools to change a flat tire. You can outfit your bike in many, many ways. And, you don't necessarily have to do it exactly like that, but I want you to have your tools for changing a flat tire on your bike at all times during training and also when we're together on the Katy Trail. I have 2 cages on my gravel bike. I also used a hydration pack, like with the bladder in it. And that was really nice because I put water in my hydration pack, and then I put some electrolytes in my water bottles. And it's easier to refill water bottles than it is to refill your hydration pack. But again, there's like bubblers along the way, and you can also like buy Gatorade and fill that up or whatever you'd like. So you're going to also need, again, we'll go into more detail, but obviously cycling shorts with a chamois that helps your your butt feel not so bad on the seat. That's one of the biggest issues that we're going to work on in training. And then the final thing, and again, we can talk about this more, but you can either pick to have cycling shoes and clipless pedals where your feet will be, going attached to the bike. They are optional. You can also use flat pedals and athletic shoes. Both of those work. The only thing I will say about the cycling shoes and clipless pedals that's helpful is that because the Katy Trail is so flat, you're going to be spinning your legs a lot, right? You're not going to have a lot of time to coast. And so sometimes, if you're thinking about clipless pedals, we can help you transition to them. We can talk about them because they are like, you can use your whole 360 of your leg then. If you have a flat pedal with a shoe, you're really just pushing down. Again, both work, and the Katy Trail is so easily ridden that it's okay, no matter what. Okay, so when we start our training program, which is going to start on, I believe, the 15th, which is, I know it's the 15th. It's 2 weeks from yesterday. And it's a 14-week program. So I wrote it, and I wrote it with the Katy Trail in mind. There is 12 weeks of building. So you're going to, work from, this is week 1 here. You're going to work from an easy ride of 30 minutes. And this is an outdoor ride on this Saturday. That's 60 minutes to an easy ride of 60 minutes. And then our outside ride, the longest outside ride is going to be 3 hours on a Saturday and then 2 hours on a Sunday, which is 4.5 hours total riding outside. And if Saturday and Sunday don't work for you, you can move that to Friday and Saturday or Thursday and Friday. I just want them moved as a pair because I want you riding back to back, and I can help you adjust your schedule if need be. Every 5th week is a little bit of a cutback week, so weeks 5 and 10 are a little bit easier. We'll have 2 cycling-specific strength circuits a week, and that's really just going to focus, obviously, on your lower body. It's also going to focus on your core, your lower back, and your upper back, because the things that are going to get kind of angry, I would say, as you ride a lot is your wrists, excuse me, your wrists, your neck, maybe your shoulders, and maybe your lower back, in addition to your butt. I mean, let's just go and say, your saddle definitely is going to take the hit. And so the more that you can be strong in your core, the less you're going to be like really like, putting a lot of pressure on your wrists. They're still going to probably ache a little bit. But that's kind of how I thought about the cycling circuits. So there are 3 different circuits that you'll be doing over the course of those 12 weeks. You need a Swiss ball for hamstring curls, and you need a couple sets of dumbbells. So you can do it at the gym, excuse me, or you could do it at home. And then you'll do 3 to 4 rides a week. Like I said, the weekend rides, I want you to be outside on those longer rides. And again, if your schedule is not conducive to riding on the weekend, we can move that, but I want you to be riding outside. And then 6 weeks have those back-to-back Saturday to Sunday rides. So we are going to, get off a ride on Saturday, and the next day, you're going to get back on and be ready to go. So for gear, you need a bike you can ride outside. During the week, you can easily ride inside, and an indoor bike can include a Peloton. It could be a spinning class. It could be a spinning bike. It could be an indoor trainer with your own bike, or it could be a stationary bike at the gym, like one that's more upright. So lots of options for riding inside. Again, this is not like we're not training for power. We're not training for, we're training for overall endurance. And also we're going to work on cadence a lot, like getting your legs spinning as efficiently as possible, because again, that's going to help us with those flat miles. Here are a couple scenes from the trail. Saw some cows, very cute, lots of wildlife there. This was our favorite place to eat. We ate there twice. We got lunch there one day and then went for breakfast the next day. And I can't remember the name of it, but I've taken notes for everything. But here's my healthy, like, avocado toast. And then here are the Abel Skeevers, I think is what they're called. Little, like, donut things. Very heavy German influence, Dutch influence here. So lots of Deutschland. Here's an example of the railroad stations that I was talking about. So each one has, like, if you're a history buff, you're going to get a lot of Missouri history, a lot of Lewis and Clark along the trail. There's a map that you'll get at the beginning that has that whole map that I showed you at the beginning. You'll get that map at the beginning of our tour, so you'll know where we are. And then this is this is my funny. So I did break my wrist on the Katy Trail, and I want to be very clear. You are not going to break your wrist on the Katy Trail, okay? I promise you, you're not. Here's how I did it. So, of course, social media, right? Because I was like, I got to get more pictures, right? This is the last day. We had 8 miles to go. So we saw this sign that says barn cats, please do not take, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm like, this is very like Missouri farm, and and I'm like, I kind of want to take a cat if you tell me not to. So we had ridden past the sign. I turned once, and it's turning slowly. And then I turned back to go back around, and I just couldn't get my left pedal unclipped. And I had told Grant, I said to him, my left pedal is really tight. You can loosen, if you do decide to have clipless pedals, you can loosen how, you can make it tight or loose depending upon how easy you want to be able to clip out. And mine was too tight. And it was one of those very, very slow-mo falls that I was like, oh God. And you just know you're going down. So that's how I broke it. And here, this little picture behind it, of course, again, very few people on the trail. Everyone you do meet is very kind and just chatty and fun, but very few spectators, I would say. Of course, it was a female farmer, and here she is on her little John Deere, and she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Can't believe you saw me fall. But so then here's one more scenes from the trail. Here is the cat right here. He was resting in this big tractor. I can't remember his name now, but anyway, I didn't steal him. So that's the cat. And again, here, there's tons of cool bridges and, one tunnel you go through, but like I said, there's a lot of we stopped at a lot of these, and then we were like, okay, I can't stop at another one. But that's Lewis and Clark Expedition went through here. So if you are a history buff, very cool. Couple places along the trail have little what's it called? Honor systems. So like this was our lunch that day. We had like sodas, like Cokes, and big fat ice cream sandwiches. That was my lunch for 2 days. So that's what I was a little bit like, oh, we might need some PB&Js or some apples or something along the way. But it's a fun little thing. There's a tour. There's a turtle that we saw. We saw a lot of birds. I mean, again, like nervous system reset, tons of birds. A couple snakes, but we were on our bikes. That was fine. Lots of squirrels. An owl we saw one night. So just like, again, you're kind of going through this lovely forest setting. So here's the kind of the what the tour includes and what it doesn't. So it includes our accommodations in those 3 cities I said, the shuttle, the daily luggage transfer, the training program. We're going to have team meetings once a week, and one of those team meetings, not once a week, once a month. You're like, wow, David, that's a lot of meetings. Once a month. One of the first ones is I'm going to have a Bike 101 session with this great triathlon coach who is going to talk about flats, the equipment, safety, like shifting, just stuff that if you feel really good on your bike and you ride it a lot, you may already know this stuff. But if you are coming back to riding, or you're nervous about being out on the road or that kind of thing, that's a Bike 101 is going to be really helpful. And we'll go over, you're also going to get a weekly newsletter, and I will be helping you, like sharing some good videos that I like about different things that, again, like shifting, drinking from a bottle while you're riding, like stuff that may feel just like second nature to you and may feel really scary to you. So depending upon where you are on that spectrum. You're going to get a Many Happy Miles bike jersey, and so we'll be taking those orders. I'll get your sizes right after we start training. I just wanted to get everyone in the program before I order them. And then you're also going to get from our tour people, it's called the Bike Stop Cafe. It's a couple. They're very cute, nice people. You're either going to get a tee, a Katy Trail tee, or another jersey and a patch. So that's what you get. That's for $12.99. The 4-month payment plan is also available. So if you go to the website and you want to split it up over 4 months, you can. And there's no extra fee for doing that. It doesn't include your transportation to or from St. Charles, the lodging before or after the tour, most of the meals on the Katy Trail, with the exception of one breakfast at the Airbnb, your snacks and drinks, fees for any mechanical issues you may have. The tour people are very available, and there are bike shops along the way. They're not. They're not everywhere, but I know where they are if we needed something something really drastic happened. But the reality is that from St. Charles to where we drive to is about 2.5 hours, I think. So if we needed help, or you needed to stop or something like that, help is not that far away. We're not, in the middle of Panama or something like that. So it's very, like I said, it feels very accessible and safe if you have an issue. And then a bike if you choose to rent it. So you will probably want to get in on Thursday, September 16th. We're going to have an optional team dinner there. That's optional, but we do leave at 8 a.m. on Friday the 17th. So that's when the shuttle leaves the Bike Stop Cafe and takes us back to Rocheport, and then we ride the 41 miles. So that's definitely how you need to kind of anchor when you want to be there. We'll be back in St. Charles around 1 p.m. on Sunday, the 18th. So if you want to fly home that night, you can do that. If you're relatively close, you can drive home. Grant and I drove to Salina, Kansas, and then drove. We had about a 12-hour drive, so we didn't do that in one day. We did it in 2. And if you do drive, you can leave your car in the tour parking lot for free for 4 days, so you don't have to worry about parking it somewhere. So that's kind of the overview, and I'll look at questions now. And if anyone else has any questions, you can also just unmute yourself or raise your hand. But I'm trying to open the chat right now. Let's see here. Huh? I can't. Go ahead, Mary. You can why don't you unmute yourself? I can't get the chat to work right now. So, oh yeah, okay. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, hope it's not too noisy. We're barreling down across I-90. Gonna say hi to Jody and Judy soon, or Jody and Julie soon.
Oh, really? Where are
in
you going?
Minneapolis.
You going to Minneapolis?
Well, ultimately, we're headed toward Minneapolis, but ultimately we're headed toward gravel or bike mechanic camp, the Feisty Media Bike Mechanic Camp in Vermont, and then up to Maine, and then back through whatever, back home eventually.
Look at you. Anyway. Love that. Well, we're going to have, great to see you, Carla. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions, just text me. Carla's my Old Girls on the Run coach, co-coach. So very nice to see you. I would love it if you joined us. Well, you can be our mechanic then.
Anyway, I do have
a mechanic camp, man. You're on the hook.
I am. No promises. No promises. Okay. But yes. Yeah. So, but my question is, if necessary, can I meet you in Rocheport? Because we're going to do another cross-country drive to get me there, and then Matt will do whatever for 4 days.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, you can do that. You can absolutely meet us in Rocheport. I mean, we're going to start about 3 miles west of Rocheport, because we did that. Grant and I did it. It's a smaller parking lot. And those 3 miles are going to get you a chance to kind of, I can give you the exact coordinates, but it gives a chance to kind of warm up, feel your bike, and we can stop in Rocheport and adjust anything. And plus, the only tunnel is to the west of Rocheport, so it feels weird to like go through the tunnel, go back, and then ride. So we're going to start. We're going to ride through the tunnel. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks.
Will the rented bikes have 2 water cages? Probably, but I would need to check, Mary Ellen, and I will. We can do that. I can ask Jody. But if not, they should definitely have 1. And then if you have a bladder, that should be enough. Yeah. So I know Mary Ellen, Mary, Linda are here. They're all coming on it, which I'm very excited. We have, the other thing that I wanted to throw out there is, I should have said this, the housing is doubles right now. So you have a roommate, but, that was assuming we were going to have 20 people total, including me. And right now we have 10, which is fine. So there are opportunities for singles, and I'm going to probably close the registration pretty soon after the 15th, just so that we can get everything set up. So if you prefer a single, it would be a little bit of an extra fee, but we can work on that. So that's the other thing about housing that I forgot to throw out there. All right. Well, good. Well, I think we covered everything. Like I said, I just really, it is, I wasn't skeptical of it, but I was like, well, I knew I really wanted to always do a bike thing, right? And I wanted something that a lot of people could join. You know, it came in at all different levels, and I mean, both Grant and I just left, and we were just like, oh my God, that was just amazing, just amazing. And I mean, I realize the weather may be different. We may have a different bug situation, but going in September gives us, we're not in the high heat. We're not in high mosquito weather. And so I just, I think there's going to be I think you're going to walk away feeling just refreshed and proud of yourself. And it's, it's kind of one of those things that if I didn't have a group to do it with, I probably wouldn't do it on my own. So and it's a great, I can tell you right now, already based on the people who are signed up, we're going to have a blast. So, all right. Silly. Yeah. Brandy says it could be cold, could be hot with high humidity. Brandy, do you live near, Missouri? Or are you in Missouri? Anyway, silly helmet question. Yeah. Yes, you do. Okay. Have you ever done the trail?
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute and everything.
No worries. Hi, nice to see you, Brandy. Have you done the trail before?
Hi. I've just moved here to St. Louis last summer. I got stationed up here
Oh,
As you see, I'm in the Coast Guard.
okay.
I'm actually responsible for the Missouri River.
Oh,
So,
wow. Oh, that's so cool.
um, so, um, yeah, I just moved here last summer, and corn sweat is a thing I didn't know about. I was like, I moved here from New Orleans, and I was like, why is it so humid up here?
Wow.
But I have done part of the Katy Trail up here, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing that you feel like Missouri's more humid than New Orleans. That surprises me.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's more.
Okay.
But it gets during the summer when all the corn's in bloom. And
Yeah.
I did not know that that was a thing.
Oh, it's called corn sweat. I thought
It's
you
my
said corn
first time in the
sweat.
Midwest.
Oh, okay. Oh, corn
No
sweat.
corn.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was
Yes.
interesting because when we everything was very low, when we wrote it in early May, and so I was like, I wonder what this is going to look like. I don't know if it'll be
Yeah.
harvested yet. You definitely go by a lot of farms, so
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, last September, I think, is when I went and did kind of the part of the Katy Trail here by St. Charles.
okay.
And as you probably saw, St. Charles is an amazing little town.
Yes.
It's really popular around here. A lot of people go, and that part of the trail is really, really awesome.
Yeah, yeah, super nice. And yeah, St. Charles is so cute. We ended on Mother's Day, and it was just a beautiful day. It was like hopping everywhere. Like there were just people, families everywhere. It was lovely. Yeah, and yeah, St. Charles is definitely a place maybe you want to explore a little bit. That's definitely the town I would say you want to stay in. But
Yeah.
the other towns, like Augusta, is a very small little town. But Rhineland, like they filmed a Hallmark movie there. It feels very, it's just very quaint, very very cute. Lots of cute little boutiques that sell things with lace. So yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well, great. Well, we'd love to have you, Brandy. The helmet, Mary Ellen. That's not a silly question. Do you want? Yeah, I would bring your own helmet. I think that's a good call. You can either put it in your suitcase or a carry-on bag, either one. But I think it's fitted to you. You like it. It'll feel good. So yeah. And you may want to carry it in your carry-on bag just in case you're not going to get there. But hopefully that's not an issue. You can put it in either place. All right, that is a good question. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll see a couple of you for sure in a couple months. And I'll send this out to everybody. I'll send the replay out along with the link to join. And if you are a Many Happy Miles member, you get 10% off. And I think that's it. All right, safe travels. Have fun, Mary, and have fun, everyone else. Nice to see you all. Bye.